doing? Your friend Book Teddy is back with the review of a new book. This book was read by me when I was a teenager and I read it again in this lockdown, and I think it is very apt for our situation now. So it is The Diary of a Young Girl by Anne Frank, and for those who haven't read it, I'm going to give the review. So, this is the story of a girl called Anne Frank, and it is an actual diary of this girl. And it tells about her life from maybe June 1942 to August 1944. So Anne was an average, Jewish girl, a young girl who was born in the family of Franks. And the family was a pretty well-to-do family. They had all the facilities. They were pretty rich. So Anne had a very nice, idyllic childhood. She used to go to school. She had girlfriends. She had boyfriends, and her life was going really well. But then World War II came, and then the problems started. The Germans occupied a lot of Europe, and she used to live in Amsterdam, Holland, and it was occupied by Germans. Initially, they started giving some trouble to the Jewish people. The Jewish people were asked to wear a yellow star on their body all the times. They were not allowed to ride on the trams. They were not allowed to ride the bicycles. They used to go to only Jewish shops or Jewish schools, and they were restricted from pretty many things. And then after some time, the Jewish people were being asked to go to concentration camps. They were being captured and they were being sent to concentration camp where they were killed or they were gassed. So all of us know the history of World War II, and this story is also set in World War II. So because of this, a lot of Jews started fleeing to the US or the UK. And a lot of them who couldn't go to the US or the UK went into hiding. So Franks were the one who went into hiding with another family called Van Daan. And they went into a secret annex inside Anne Frank's father's office. So there was a pretty large space inside the office. It was an old laboratory and nobody knew about it except a very few people. So they started living there. And most of her diary is about her life inside that closed space. As a child, I could never relate to this book. I always used to wonder, why is she so unhappy when she has all the books to read and she doesn't have to go to school? Or why is she so frustrated about staying at one place? But now I can totally relate to her. After this coronavirus and staying at home for past 4.5 months, I can totally relate to what she was going through. And that is why today I want all of us to go through her journey and our journey together. So let's start. So the first similarity is, for the Franks and the Van Daans and all the Jewish people, the enemy were the Nazis. Yes, if they were caught by Gestapo, then either they would be, put in the concentration camps or would be killed or gassed. If we in this coronavirus situation go out without protection, without masks, or without any purpose, then we may contract the virus and then we may end up quarantined or being in hospital or even die. Franks prepared for months and months before moving into their secret home. So they took all their essential belongings, only the essential belongings, to their secret annex. When the lockdown for us was announced in March, we could see so many people just running to the grocery store and hoarding a lot of stuff. They were worried whether they'll find stuff or they'll find their groceries after the lockdown or not, and most of them were worried, and everybody was taking away stuff. We could see it in the news, we could see it in the newspaper. Everybody was taking away stuff in huge numbers and hoarding them inside their homes. Initially, Anne was liking her new place, her new secret annex. It was like a game to her. So she was reading, she was playing games with her family, she was talking with her family. They were getting on very well with the Van Daans. They were also adjusting to their new lifestyle of secrecy, of not talking loudly and always, talking in hushed tones and not switching lights at some particular time, not making noise at some particular time. So they were adjusting to their new normal. Even we, during the lockdown, started adjusting to the new normal. We started working from home. We started, sanitization, wearing masks and using sanitizers and washing the things and keeping things away for 4 days. We started so many new things and we also started adjusting to the new normal. Initially, after the honeymoon period, the boredom set in. staying with the same people 24 cross 7, seeing their faces all the time led to small tiffs and quarrels. Initially, the quarrels were there between Mr. and Mrs. Van Daan or Mrs. Van Daan and Anne. And they were on very small issues like Anne didn't do this, she didn't do that, she spilled milk, this, that, small, small things. And they were resolved by Mr. and Mrs. Frank or Margot, that is Anne's elder sister. And we can see that in our homes also. We were not used to staying at home 24 cross 7 or living with the family 24 cross 7. And because of that, small, small tips used to happen in our family also. They had a radio with them, and the radio was the center point of their supper. They used to gather around the radio during the night, and their moods rose if the news was about Germans losing, and their moods sank if they heard that Germans were winning somewhere. Isn't that the case with us also? When we read about the coronavirus cases increasing, we feel a little fearful and we fear for our safety. But when we see that the number of deaths are less or our recovery rate is high, our moods go up also. So, in the same way, our moods are also fluctuating with that of the news, like that of Franks and Van Dans. Anne and her sister didn't stop learning during their hideout. She learned French, she learned shorthand, and she learned so many more things. She didn't stop dreaming about her future. Even I have seen a lot of people during this lockdown doing a lot of courses from Coursera, Udemy, and thinking about their future and working on their future. Slowly, the stress of the war, being in a confined space and seeing each other all the time, led to a lot of frustration and burnout. The quarrels and the fights increased, and all the people started fighting with each other. Most of the people were frustrated and they were not happy with each other, and very small, small things used to blow up into full fledged fights. Even in coronavirus situation and lockdowns, we have seen a lot of reports where the number of domestic violence cases have increased. The same situation is repeating now also. They were forced to eat a lot of tinned and preserved food, and the food was not in plenty. So they could not eat all the things which they liked. There was a scarcity of fats and butter, there was a scarcity of bread, and they had to eat a lot of beans and potatoes and really started hating kidney beans. But they had no option but to eat that because there was nothing available. Even in the coronavirus situation, a lot of people I've seen on social media miss going out, miss going to their favorite restaurants and having their favorite food. Even I miss going out and having my favorite food. But not everything was bad. They used to get good surprises also. Their friends used to surprise them with birthday gifts or gifts on special festivals, and they used to get very happy. Now, small, small gifts like a bottle of yogurt or a small diary or even decoration paper used to make them very happy. And I can personally relate to it when I got my first package of Amazon after maybe 3 months or so. I was so happy. I felt even I had ordered it and I got the same thing, but I felt that I have received a gift from somebody. So I can totally relate to the fact that after 2 to 3 months, when you're not shopping anything, when you're not getting anything from anybody, and finally you get a package, you feel so happy. The war came to Netherlands, and they could hear gunshots, they could hear machine gun fires, they could hear air bombings, and they were so afraid for their safety. They didn't know whether they'll live tomorrow or not, whether a bomb will be dropped on them from somewhere. Isn't that what we are suffering today also? Earlier the number of cases were less, but as the number of cases are increasing, we hear that some of our relative got it, somebody from our office got it, somebody we know in our building got it, and then we are so afraid because we feel that it has come to our building, it has come to our floor, now it can come to us also. After a year or so, Anne starts getting into fight with her family a lot. She starts fighting with her mother, her sister, her father. She feels that nobody understands her. She is in that adolescent age when she is, maturing into a woman, and she feels that nobody understands her. Now the kids situation is the same in every home. They cannot go out to play during the pandemic, they cannot go out and play with the other kids, and that's why they have to stay at home. And at home they have nothing to do, and that is why they want screens in front of them. But parents are not allowing them to, access the screen. They do not want their kids to spend a lot of time on their screens, and because of that there is a lot of tiff between parents and the kids. So these are some of the things which I could relate to, actually, copy paste the same things here and there and find so much of similarity between her situation and my situation. Now I can totally empathize with her, which I wasn't able to do when I read this in my teenage. So, the secret annex is raided by the Gestapo, and each one of them is caught and put on a train and sent to concentration camp. Mr. Van Daan is gassed, and Peter is sent to work in the army. All the others die of hunger and malnutrition and disease in the concentration camp. The sole survivor is Otto Frank, who is Anne Frank's father, who published this diary and gave us an insight into her life and her positivity. Even in such trying situations where she is in hiding, she cannot go out and play with her friends, she cannot go to school, she cannot even go out of that particular hiding place. There is war, there are gunshots, there are air bombings around, and she's having constant fights and quarrels with her family. She does not leave her optimism. She is extremely positive about what she wants to become. She is hopeful of the future. She dreams about she'll travel to different places, learn different languages, and eventually become a very independent woman. And that positivity is something which is extremely infectious. It fills you up with such positive light, and you also feel that this pandemic is something which is finite. I will go through this pandemic, and you also start to plan about your future, what you will do after the pandemic is over. This book gave me a lot of strength and positivity during these trying times, and I hope that I have passed on a little positivity to you through this book review. I hope you like this book review. If you like it, please press on the like button. Please subscribe to my channel. I come up with book reviews every Sunday and every Wednesday. And please hit the bell icon so that you don't miss any notification. So till next book review, bye bye and take care.